reading this morning from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, entitled Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender, text number 5. Despite Gajendra's efforts, despite all of his hopes, this crocodile just will not let go of him. Gajendra, who is living what any materialistic person would consider an ideal life in every possible way, who is quite proud of his power, of his reputation, of his ability to control things, now finds himself trapped in the jaws of a crocodile. And he's fighting with this crocodile for 1,000 years, celestial years. And it doesn't say it in the Bhagavatam. But if it was most of us, and probably Gajendra also, he must have been thinking, this crocodile has to let go sometime. But despite his hopes, despite his efforts, the crocodile just will not let go of him. This is the way Maya works for everyone. She just won't let go, no matter what you do. The only thing that can break us loose from the jaws of the crocodile of material energy is when we totally humble ourselves, like Gajendra, realizing that we are completely helpless, and we surrender. There's no other way out of the crocodile of Maya except to surrender to Krishna. And the surrender, it requires to be of the qualitative feeling of Gajendra. The surrender is not by how we perform our rituals, by how we perform our austerities, by how we become popular in the eyes of others, or unpopular. It's a matter of really humbling ourselves and saying, to Krishna, I'm yours. I'm suffering. This crocodile of Maya is killing me, and there's nothing I can do. And despite hope after hope, now I realize it will never go away until I surrender. Sometimes as devotees, we're wondering, when is Maya going to let up? When is she going to leave me alone? Well, The answer is never. Until you surrender like Gajendra. Advancement in Krishna consciousness is not about how many verses we learn. It's not about how many years we've been around. It's not even about how many times we've gone around Govardhan Hill or how many rounds we've chanted. All these parikramas, all these rounds that we're chanting are all meant to bring us to the point of total surrender. And until that total surrender, Maya's not going to give up. She's going to be there. And that is Krishna's mercy. Krishna doesn't settle for less than complete surrender. He'll settle for whatever you give. But he wants to give you the highest. And you cannot get the highest unless you realize there's nothing else. Everything else is coming and going like the seasons. There's only one thing that is permanent, and there's only one thing that can give me shelter, and that is Krishna. And we can read it and hear it and speak it. But we really have to not just believe it, but we have to act on it. There are dark times in our lives, but nothing is so dark as after the cosmic annihilation. There is nothing but darkness. Yes, in life, it might be a hard day, but we have faith that better days will come. Yes. Maybe a very stormy day in the weather, but we believe that a better day will come. We may be going through some problem, but we have some faith that this problem will end. And that itself gives us shelter. Yes? That the problem will end, that it's temporary. It gives us some shelter. Whether it be a problem due to our own health or our own mental condition, or whether it's by the climate or natural environment, or whether it's problems caused by other living beings. People trying to destroy us, people who just don't act the way we feel is favorable to us. And do you not feel some shelter thinking that someday this will end? Well, at the end of during the cosmic annihilation and after, there's an entire night of Brahma, which is billions of years, where there's no sun, where there's no light. It's total darkness, and there's nothing you can do. In fact, you're sound asleep. Such a totally helpless condition. But even at that time, Krishna is there, above all the darkness, giving the splendor of unlimited suns, inviting us into his eternal transcendental pastimes to give us total relief, shelter, and ecstatic joy. So Maya's way of dealing with us in this world is to keep us under the illusion that things will get better. Yes? No matter how bad things are, Maya tricks us to think things will get better. Whatever crocodile is biting you, it's going to get tired after some time, and it's going to go away. And as long as we have such false hopes, we never surrender. The reality is, as soon as you come into this material existence, the moment you come in, this crocodile of illusion has you in its grips and will never let go. This is Shukadev Goswami's lesson to us in Srimad Bhagavatam. After all else has failed, Gajendra is conscious that only Krishna can save me. I am yours. And in his surrender, he's not asking the Lord to take the crocodile away. He's basically just giving his life to Krishna. In a crocodile, outside of a crocodile, Krishna, I'm yours. That is surrender. We should be aware that in this pond of material existence, we are always in the jaws of this crocodile. When Lord Chaitanya chants Jeev Jago, what he's saying, if you read further in the song, that the first aspect of surrender is to recognize that we're in the crocodile's mouth. Bhakti Vinod Thakur cites Lord Chaitanya's words, you are spending your days and nights uselessly decorating your dead bodies. Maya is very strong. Queen Kunti prayed for calamities so that she'd always be aware that she's in the mouth of this crocodile. So that every moment she's crying out to Krishna. Our illusion is we're not aware of our predicament. And even if we are aware sometimes, seriously aware of our predicament, our illusion is we think it's going to go away sometime. Until we surrender to Krishna, it doesn't. You're going to get old, you're going to get diseased, you're going to die, no matter what you do in this life. And then you have to go through the trauma of birth, and you have to go through the whole thing again and everything in between. This crocodile is relentless. And the problem is this crocodile is as eternal as your very soul. Maya is eternal. The manifestations of hers are temporary, but Maya is forever. She's Krishna's external energy, the Bahiranga Shakti. She's forever. and she gets her jaws around you, she'll never let go for the rest of eternity. Until you surrender to Krishna, surrender to God. That's why in the early days of the Christians, they thought it was great to be martyred, to be crucified, or to be killed, tortured and killed. Because they felt that in that situation where I'm being tortured and killed in the name of God, I could really take shelter and get out of this mess. Yes. It was considered a blessing when people would torture you and kill you. It's considered an honor and a great opportunity. Of course, their idea is if you don't surrender to God, you're going to be in hell forever. Of course, the early Christians, whether they actually believed that or not, I don't know. There are a difference of opinions. But one thing they do definitely believe is there's everlasting suffering until you surrender to the Lord. We have that in common. So whatever situation, don't let Maya trick you, thinking, just don't worry. My jaws will get less after some time. Just, be all right. Never. Whatever form the sufferings come, if we suffered the way we wanted to suffer, it wouldn't really be suffering. Actual suffering means really the way I don't want it. What really hurts me. Maybe coming from other people, maybe coming from my own body, maybe coming from the environment, but somehow or other. The worst suffering is the sufferings that we would never prefer. We would never select this. It's not that there's a list and these are the sufferings, choose the ones you like. Sometimes it's going to come the worst possible way. That's what happened to Gajendra. He was totally humiliated. Not only was he in physical, absolute pain, but he was completely humiliated in front of all the people who honored him and worshipped him. He was the king. His own family members, his own wives, who just considered him infallible. His own children, who considered him their shelter. His own subjects, who feared him because of his power. In front of everyone. He was helpless. He was defeated. He had nothing. It is in that state that he is surrendering his life to the Lord. And how is he surrendering? Through his prayers. My Lord, I am yours. Today's verse. In due course of time, when all the causative and effective manifestations of the universe, including the planets and their directors and maintainers, are annihilated, there is a situation of dense darkness. However, we have our hope against hope of making things better in this world. Eventually it's going to be this total annihilation. You may think, well, I will die, but my children will carry on my legacy, and I will live through my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren and all of that stuff. But eventually, nothing else exists. Everything is destroyed. Your property, you may think, oh, I built this beautiful home, or a government may see we have built this beautiful monument which is going to last beyond my lifetime. But it's all going to be destroyed. Actually, a devotee recognizes this time of total annihilation, even in the present moment. Because it's potentially and it's inevitably there, even in the moment. Whatever things there are in this world, it's only separated by a little bit of time till it's all totally annihilated. And there's nothing but darkness. But in every situation, even in this most extreme condition, Krishna's always there to help us. He never lets his devotee down. We may be thinking that there's some other shelter. But Krishna's Surada Sarva Bhutanam. He's everyone's best friend. Whatever's happening, he's right there. It's a Paramatma within our heart, just waiting to give us a completely blissful life. He's always waiting for us, no matter what we do, no matter what we've done. Krishna never leaves us. Who could be a better friend than him? If you totally betray, blaspheme, reject somebody, birth after birth after birth, are they going to still be with you? Krishna's love is unconditional. He never leaves us. Always waiting. Always willing to give us a chance. And even in the total darkness of total annihilation, Krishna's always there, like the sun. In other words, there's no time when Krishna will not deliver us if we just turn to him. Oh, this is one of the most important stories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, we read about the beautiful relationships between Krishna and the residents of Vrindavan. But before we could actually appreciate what is that spiritual exchange of love, we have to go beyond Gajendra's realization. We have to surrender. And in this age of Kali, Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. The Lord has descended at His holy name. That same Lord that came down and cut the crocodile's mouth and then transformed Gajendra into his original spiritual body, put him on an airplane and took him back home, back to Godhead. And he did all this within a few minutes. We will read. Because Gajendra was so sincere, Krishna descended with his chakra, cut the crocodile, and that wasn't how Gajendra was liberated. Now if Gajendra, after being liberated, was thinking, oh, what a relief, now I could, take care of my family. Then Krishna would have just left him there. Vishnu would have said, oh, you want to take care of your family now? Okay. But there's going to be another crocodile. You're not out of the real crocodile's mouth. But after he was liberated from the crocodile, Gajendra didn't want to do anything except serve the Lord. He loved the Lord. He was so grateful. So seeing that he had no other desire, he lost all his hopes in the blind faith of Maya's false promises within this world. Krishna not only cut him out of the crocodile, he put him on an airplane and sent him directly to Vaikuntha, non-stop. And the holy name has Kali Kale Namarupe Krishna Avatar. And in age of Kali especially, the holy name incarnates for that same purpose. By the holy name alone, we could be liberated from the jaws of the crocodile of material energy. And the holy name can take us back home to the eternal world of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is our faith, that is our conviction, and that is our good fortune, that we have been given this understanding. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that brahmachari, Brahman, it is not by learning, it is not by austerities, it's not just by performing your rituals, it's only by pure devotion. Hanuman was a monkey. The gopis were just simple cowherd girls. Gajendra was an elephant. Whoever we are, when we actually surrender, when we really are convinced that the crocodile will never, ever, ever let go. Sometimes we recognize it, sometimes we don't, but we're always in that crocodile's jaws of Maya. And factually, even during Lord Brahma's night, when everything is annihilated in total darkness and nothing else exists, the crocodile exists. We're still in the jaws. We may be so sound asleep that we don't even realize it, but we're still in the jaws. Maya doesn't let us go even after the annihilation. And as soon as Brahma wakes up, we wake up and we find we're still there. Maya doesn't go to sleep. She's awake 24 hours a day for eternity. She's Krishna's material energy. Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, and he doesn't talk about one day after another. He's talking about kalpa after kalpa. He's talking about Brahma lifetime after Brahma lifetime. We've been in this material world. Brahma lives 311 trillion years. We may have been in the crocodile's jaws of material energy for thousands of Brahma's lifetimes. And for not a second does that crocodile ever let up. Sometimes we recognize it more. And sometimes when people are really enjoying and thinking they're having a good time, that's when the grips are the tightest. In other words, we can't get out. The pleasures are one of the ways that those jaws, that crocodile has many teeth. Yes, and they're all sharp. Some of them are the teeth of the pleasures that keep us trapped. Some are the teeth of the miseries that keep us trapped. Sometimes, we may shift from one tooth to the other, but we never get out of the jaws. But Krishna has come in the holy name to deliver us. And then we realize what a blessing this crocodile really is. Because without Maya, we may be eternally separated from God. Unless she made us suffer the way she does. So in the spirit of Gajendra, not tomorrow, but today, we should learn to sincerely take shelter of the Lord as we are chanting His holy names.